In this episode, we're talking all about handling guests and what happens if they are upset or angry, and then their reviews as well. So stay tuned. Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show. Hey, what is going on, Host Nation? I am with John Bell, and today we're talking about bad guests, unhappy guests, and their negative reviews and how you handle them. So obviously, this is a hospitality business. This is not a real estate business. So when you are dealing with things like guests, you're not going to be able to please everybody. So there's just some people that they are just inherently angry and unhappy. Some are very nitpicky. That's just part of the business. But you also have to realize that this is customer service and that we have to come from a customer service standpoint. So being able to handle a negative guest or an angry guest is really important, and you can actually do things to be able to save yourself from getting these negative reviews on your profile. And because this is such a review-driven business, this is such a key part of your business. So obviously, John, when you're dealing with a lot of homes and dealing with a lot of different types of guests, you're going to come across these types of people. How do you handle a person that maybe is just coming right off the bat or that you know is going to be a troublesome type of guest?
You know, it's sometimes tough when you already predict that it's going to be a troublesome guest. This is when, tact really is very important. You want to make sure that you are, in better terms, behind the pendulum. If you don't know what that means, I think you guys need to Google it. It is actually a technique that is used that just kind of puts you in a passive state and not necessarily in front of the wrecking ball. You don't want to be in front of the wrecking ball. So you just want to make sure that you can answer or accommodate the guest in whatever they technically need as much as you can. If it's outlandish, sometimes you just have to say, I'm sorry, I cannot.
So John, can you give some examples of a person that you know is going to be right off the bat a very troublesome guest and how you handle that type of situation?
Sometimes it's easy to catch those prima donna type guests, and sometimes you don't catch them until they're already in your space. But the best way that I can deal with it is I can handle what I can handle, and other times I can't. I follow my sword. In one particular situation, I had a guest, a brand new property. This is literally the first guest in this place. There was a little flaw. The blinds were not fully installed in all of the main space living rooms. So the bedrooms were covered and no blinds on the main living area, which typically in my case, I like that because it's open. I don't really care about people looking in, stuff like that. The place is so big that they can't see but so much. In general, it's also elevated to the third floor. This guest taped up trash bags to close up the window. Now, how did I handle that? One, they wanted me to come tomorrow to install blinds. I thought that was a crazy request because I can't come tomorrow and put in blinds for this big window. I mean, this is probably a 6-foot by 8-foot window. They don't have these blinds at Lowe's that I can just go and get and install. So it was really unrealistic for me to say, yes, I can get somebody there. What I told her was the truth. I couldn't get anybody there, but that if I could, that I would let her know and that we would definitely take care of the issue. What I did in that case, I did send her a welcome gift. If you listen to some of the past videos, you know that I don't send or have welcome gifts in my places at all times. I use them almost now for a I'm sorry present that just reiterates, like, we just want to make sure you're comfortable. We added something a little sweet. Maybe this helps change the tone of the entire reservation. She did thank me for that. And for that request, she didn't mention anything else. When she checked out, I then found that there were trash bags and stuff taped to the windows just to block out the light. And when I say they blocked out all light, they put trash bags over the windows that had blinds. So When I removed the tape, can you imagine what happened when I removed the tape? The paint peeled because they taped it up with duct tape. Now, that's definitely a bad review, at least from me to them. But I'm sure that she would also leave a bad review because I lacked in an area that she thought was very important. And that technically was privacy. So in that whole case, I used SmartBnB to submit the review very, very last minute. My other automations that asked for a 5-star review still went out. This guest did end up giving me a review. The review was a 4-star review, but that was fine because I expected a little bit lower. I gave her in return a 4-star review because she messed up my walls. I also just charged her security deposit for this property to repatch all those seams that she left from removing the tape.
I think that this is a really good episode, John, to really just showcase that this is not real estate. This is very much a hospitality business. And if you're coming into this business with the mindset that you can just start making money and it'll just be a cash engine, there's going to be weird situations like this, and you have to be able to handle them, personally. This is not all of this is going to be able to be an automated type of system. This isn't passive. This is how are you going to be handling a customer, a guest that is maybe going outside of what the normal guest would do. So John, one of the key things that you did mention in a previous video, but I wanted you to hit again because I think it is very important, is that automated messaging, that last minute review. And how does that strategy work with, let's say, this type of situation?
All right. It works perfectly with this situation. It's really about the placement of the review. If you know you're going to get a bad review, you don't want that to be the first thing that people see when they go onto your listing and they see it and this person just stayed 3 days ago. I push that review out as far as I can in hopes that I have other guests that are going to submit more favorable reviews on top of when this review is going to go. The reviews are going to be ordered by stay. So that means that this person, being the very first guest, is going to be the first review that I get, which means it's at the bottom of the list. The bottom of the list, I've had 3 other people that come in. Those other 3 reviews will be right in front of that one. This would be perfect if I had more people to come in, more reviews, because then I can get that review off the first page completely. That's really what that's about, is you're just trying to show your front face as positive as you can.
So question of the day, what has been your experience with an unhappy guest and how have you handled it? Leave it in the comments section down below. And with all that being said, Host Nation, keep on hosting. Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.